Hi everyone. I'm very excited to introduce you guys to Amisha Raj, an award winning customer success manager at Sprouts. She was recognized as one of the first 30 under 30 SDRs of India. Hi Amisha, how are you? Are you excited for today?
Hey, hi. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
Let's start the discussion with the first question. So, my first question is: does cold calling actually work? And how important is cold calling in B2B sales?
So, personally, I feel cold calling is an art, right? And depending on how you approach it, it'll give you great results. Cold calling now, it depends from market to market, right? Technically, but then holistically speaking, yes, it does work. Cold calling is, I think, as important as any other outreach that we do. Firstly, I think it makes your targeting more strategic, like as in if someone is going to buy your product in the first go, or it's just a waste of effort sending them numerous emails. And then I feel, or I have experienced, there are also two types of prospects. First is the one who knows that there's an issue in the current system, and then there's another one who does not. So now let's say if there's someone who knows there's a problem, they'll look out for solution passively, right? And then you may get it as an inbound lead, but then again, if you call them at the right time, it could be yours. And then now there's another one who is not yet looking out because they don't know there's a problem. So in that case, I think cold calling helps you very much because you help them identify the problem through your cold call, because you have called them at the right time. Cold calling is very important due to these few reasons.
Nice. You put it very simply, and I liked it. I liked how you called it an art. So,
Yeah.
what, in your opinion, defines a successful cold calling?
Now everybody, now like a disclaimer, everybody will have different opinions, right? Now this is my personal opinion that I feel a successful cold call is when you have had a good conversation with the prospect, right? You have understood their processes, you have understood their system, their team structure, right? Obviously a successful cold call will be, that you have booked a meeting with them. It will be 100% a successful cold call. But then again, I feel it has more to do with the kind of conversation you have with the prospect, right? That, you have generated that interest in them. Now I'll give you a real time example, right? I have had teammates where they would have cold called a prospect 2 months ago. And then they get a call now that, hey, we are looking out for this solution. Are you open to a discussion? I'm like, yeah, we are. Come on. Right. So this is how a successful cold call is, right? You did not get a meeting out of it 2 months ago, but you have it right now and you have a good one.
Right. So, the basis is to have a good conversation and
Yes.
keep the person engaged.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, good conversation is fine, but how important is research before doing and having that good conversation and that cold call? And what kind of information should sales professionals gather before reaching out?
See, research is always cherry on the cake. Before reaching out to a prospect, you understand their role. Of course, everybody's on LinkedIn these days, right? You open their LinkedIn profile, you understand their roles, you try to figure out what their KPIs could be. You try to understand their company, their industry, and their challenges in the system according to the market conditions and everything, right? And then because of research, you try to relate everything to your product or to your service, right? And then when you pitch it to them, it becomes a perfect example of hitting the iron where it's hot, right? You basically have more meaningful conversations because you know what to speak, you know what their challenges are, you know what their KPIs are, right? So you're not just firing gun in the air. You have a target and you shoot that.
Very nicely and precisely put, I must say. What are some tips for crafting an effective cold calling script? Like you said, research is important, and to know what you want to say is important. But what are some tips for crafting that important script?
I personally think there should be different strategies we use for reaching out to different persona. Like for example, like for you, right? You are in the marketing segment, right?
Right.
Marketing domain. So you will brand differently for a big event wherein you have put a lot of cash versus a new blog on the website. So the branding will be very differently.
Right.
So similarly in sales also, if you are, let's say, reaching out to a VP plus persona versus someone in the manager level, right? You want to get into each of their shoes, understand their respective challenges in the system, their KPIs, and then deliver a pitch accordingly. You have to basically speak their language. This goes a long way. Like, let's say if you're speaking to a technical person, so you will use technical words and not business words. And if you're reaching out to someone in the business field, you'll use similar words. And once you have studied their profile and you know if he belongs to a technical part of it or if he belongs to a business part of the company, right? You probably know their buying behavior as well. So you speak in their language. You pick words from their LinkedIn, right? Company nomenclature and everything. So you create a script which will also enable the prospects to talk to you, to engage with you, right? It's not a monologue, it's a call, it's a conversation you want to build. So they will start telling you about their situation, their challenges, because you probe them in such a way. Because we are in sales, right? But you should never make them feel that you're here to brand or sell your product. They should always have a feeling that you're here to solve their problems. Then they'll speak to you.
So, in a way, personalization also makes a very important point in crafting a good script.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, great. So, my next question is, what are some common challenges that you face during cold calls? And, like, how should a sales executive handle those challenges?
That is a very good question, but also very hurtful, right? Because I think dropping on you, right, asking you to call later, or just telling you to drop an email, just because they want to shoo you away, heading into a meeting, right? Call me later. Where did you get my number from, right? So I
Yeah.
think we all have had our fair share of challenges while getting these kind of audiences to speak specifically. But then I think handling them again is very subjective. It depends from, I'll say, person to person. But for the basics, I think few things that you should always keep in mind is you have to be an active listener. When they're asking you something, you have to be an active listener. You have to understand their objection, right? You have to emphasize with them. And also you have to relate their objection with the platform. And don't be very pushy. Just be on your toes, right, while answering or handling these objections.
I think that's a very great point that you put, that do not be very pushy. My next question to you is, how can a sales rep personalize their cold calls to make them more effective?
So there's one technique that I have been using. It's called spin technique, right?
Okay.
It's a situation, problem, implication, and need payoff. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is, now, first of all, situation, right? We have to understand the prospect situation, right? You need to evaluate what's the best way to pitch them. If, let's say, if you are trying to pitch somebody, right? If, let's say, if I have to pitch to you, I will first try to understand what tools do you currently use to, let's say, track your engagement on a post. So that is the situation. Now, the second part is problem. I need to, or you need to figure out what possible problems would they be having or would they be facing as, as a part of their job, right? Because our job is not to promote our company again, but how we can solve problems, right? So now let's say I'll speak to you in such a way ki, the tool that you're using may tell you that, so and so many people have engaged with your post. But do they tell you where are they engaging from? So this is something I have to analyze. Okay, there could be a problem with this tool, right? Even though it gives you the number of engagement, does it give you where are they coming from? So I understand the problem there. Then comes the implication part. Now this is nothing but creating a sense of urgency. We need to show them why do they need to solve the above figured problem. Like, you need to ask them questions like, maybe how much time do you think is wasted on you figuring out where are these people engaging from? Do you think it could be more optimized with something else in the market? So this is implication. I have created a sense of urgency in your mind ki, hey, yeah, I have a problem, right? And I need to solve this. And then the last one is need payoff. This is the last step, and I think the winning step. By this time, I have already made you understand that there's a problem, right, that you need to solve. And now is the time I can ask, or I can tell you that, this is our platform. And do you think our platform can help you solve this problem? And and this is where I pitch the solution to you. So this may sound like too much of a task, I have to do this, but it's really not. It's just, again, thinking on your toes. I know I have been repeating this statement a lot, but sales is just that, right? It's just thinking on your toes, and you just know the right persona and the right time to pitch it. And this is how you can personalize or hyper personalize your script, or you can just maybe formulate a structure of your conversation in your mind before you reach out to a person.
So there is one thing I wanted to ask you, and I think
Okay.
it's very important for anyone who is starting out in sales, that
Okay.
what advice would you give to someone who is just starting their career in sales and cold calling?
One thing, I was super concerned about when I started my career, right, was to get a negative response. Like,
Right.
I was so scared. What if somebody just replies to my email saying unsubscribe, right? Somebody tells me, don't call me, get me off your mailing list. So, but over the years now, that makes me sound very old. But yeah, but I have realized that it's okay, right? It's okay to fail, correct? So whoever is just starting their career in sales and cold calling, I'd like to tell you that it's okay to fail. It's okay to get negative responses, and you will get negative responses, right? But you can't lose your confidence or motivation before sending that another email or before calling that person. That, you know what, this person just told me, spoke to me very rudely, and he just hung up on me, that don't call me. Should I
Right.
call this person? No, you have to call that person. I mean, there could be several other advices I could give, but then I think this one just stands out to me because I think this could be one piece of advice that I would have, really appreciated in my career, right, when I was starting it. So if you are confident in your approach and you know what you're doing, you are sorted, right? Like
Right.
today, you would get 5 negative replies. Tomorrow, you will get one positive response, and that would be a closed one, right? Who knows? So don't think that nothing is working out. It'll all work out. This is sales. Everything works out at the end of the month. So don't worry.
That's great advice, yeah. And thank you all. Thanks, Amisha.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please reach out to me personally if you have any questions.
Please follow Sprouts and stay tuned for more such exciting events.